So as mentioned a couple of times already, our youth had the opportunity to attend Leadership Training for Christ in Kansas City over Easter weekend. There was over 400 kids from 9 different states. Is this better? It's not better. How about now? There we go. All right. Sorry, I flipped the switch and it went red and then it went back and I was like, oh, maybe it didn't work. Okay. Sorry about that. Hopefully I was still loud enough that you could hear. 400 kids from over 9 states. It was really something. As a kid who grew up in the church, and a lot of times the youth group was my sister and I know how important it is to go and see other like-minded individuals, believers who share in similar beliefs and activities and things that you can share in. I think one of the real tactics that evil uses against us is to try and insist that you're alone, that nobody else is struggling like what you are, nobody else is going through what you are, and so you try to hold it all yourself and carry your burdens alone. And that is not what Christianity is all about. It is about this community and family of believers. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for investing in our youth. It means so much for them to be able to work really hard and to prepare things throughout the entire year and then go and showcase their talents with others who are doing the same. And to see that they are part of a larger community, that they're not just the future of the church, they are the church. They're the church of today and tomorrow. And so it's, again, just thank you so much for the support that you gave us, for every pat on the back, for every you did a great job, for every smile, for everything that we did. I mean, it starts now for next year. This year, the theme was from the book of Luke. It was Upside Down Kingdom. And so as you see them perform some of their things that they did, you're going to kind of see this theme kind of work its way all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with Marie. Marie is going to come up, and she participated in Bible reading. So she's going to read her passage for us. And then after that, we're going to have some puppets.
My name is Marie Vaught. I go to the Nebraska City Church of Christ, number 174. I'll be reading from the English Standard Version. My passage is found in Luke chapter 1, verse 67 through 80. This passage is about the prophecy of John the Baptist. And his father, Zechariah, was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied, saying, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people, and has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of servant David, as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophet from of old, that he should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all who hate us, to show the mercy promised to our fathers, to remember his holy covenant, the oath that he swore to our father Abraham, to grant us that we, being delivered from the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear and holiness and all righteousness before him all our days. And your child will be called the prophet of the Most High, for you will go before the Lord to prepare his way, to give knowledge of the salvation to his people and forgiveness of their sins. Became of the tender mercy of our God, whereby this sunrise shall visit us from on high, to give light to those who sit in darkness and in the shadows of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace. And the child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the wilderness until the day of his public appearance.
sheep?
Yes, it's a story from the book of Luke. A shepherd lost one of his sheep and then went searching for it.
Searching? I'm like the bestest searcher ever. If I lost a sheep, I would yell, "Sheep, where are you? Come back. I have snacks."
Did somebody say snacks? I love snacks.
See, it works every time. Now, we need to find that lost sheep.
You lost a sheep?
No, not me. The shepherd. But, now that I think about that, and since I heard about this in Bible class, guys, I think the shepherd might be Jesus. What?
Right, Fred. Remember, the shepherd cares for all of his sheep, just like how Jesus cares for us, and how we should care for our friends.
Oh no! What if the sheep is scared? I hope the sheep isn't scared. Sheep!
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 Sheep! Sheep!
Fred, that's a bush.
That's just what it wants you to think.
Fred, it's a bush.
Maybe it's under the bush. Sheep! Sheep!
Fred, sheep don't hide under bushes. They need help just like we do sometimes.
You're right, Lily. Grace, have you ever been lost before?
Oh, yes. One time I was at the park and I wandered off, and I couldn't find my way back to the playground.
But you found it, right? Just like how the shepherd found his lost sheep?
Well, my mom came back and found me.
Exactly. And when the shepherd finds the sheep, I bet he celebrated. Woo!
Just like in Luke 15:6-7, it says, "Then he will call his friends and neighbors together. He will say, 'Be joyful with me. I have found my lost sheep.' I tell you, it will be the same in heaven. There will be great joy when one sinner turns away from sin. Yes, there will be more joy than the 99 godly people who did not even need to turn away from their sins. And when we help our friends help them find their way, we can all celebrate together."
So if we find that sheep, we throw a party with cake and balloons.
Did somebody say cake? I love cake.
Lots of cake. All of the cake.
Let's remember to always look out for each other, just like Jesus does for us.
And if anyone gets lost, we yell, "Sheep! Come to the snack party!"
Ooh, I want to come to the snack party.
Don't worry, you're invited.
So remember, it's important to care for each other and celebrate our friendships.
And it's snacks and cakes.
I love snacks and cakes and friends too.
How about we sing a lost sheep song to remember that God will always find us? 1, 2, 3.
If you're lost and feeling scared, don't you fear.
Oh no!
If you're lost and feeling scared, don't you fear.
Oh no!
Jesus comes to find you, and his love will guide us through. If you're lost and feeling scared, don't you fear.
Oh no!
If you're found and feeling glad, shout hooray.
Hooray!
If we're found and feeling glad, shout hooray.
Hooray!
Jesus loves us dearly, holds his lost ones nearly. If you're found and feeling glad, shout hooray.
Hooray!
When we're friends and help each other, let's all cheer. Woo-hoo! When we're friends and help each other, let's all cheer. Woo-hoo! We can share his kindness, shining love that's timeless. When we're friends and help each other, let's all cheer. Woo-hoo!
Fred, I found your sheep.
Sheep!
Sheep!
Okay, next, both Jubilee and Gideon competed in public speaking. So we'll go Gideon first and then Jubilee second, and you can hear the message that they prepared.
That's a great puppet show. Whoever did that, Fred Puppet, bet he's hot. All right. I get made fun of a lot because I'm very short. Like, I'm 14 years old and getting my license this summer, and people are already asking, can he even see over the steering wheel? Real original, guys. Now, I know God made me this way on purpose, but being short isn't always easy. I play basketball, and trust me, it's a challenge. I mean, my shot gets blocked a lot. Not because I'm bad, okay, maybe just a little bit, but mostly because I'm just not tall enough to shoot over these 6 foot what feels like giants. But you know what? Being short made me feel kind of connected to this guy in the Bible, Zacchaeus. If you don't know who Zacchaeus is, you can find his story in Luke, chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. He was a tax collector, and not just any tax collector, a chief tax collector, which basically means he was rich, sneaky, and not very well liked. People hated him because he took their money and probably took more than he was supposed to. But what's cool is even though he was a sinner, he wanted to see Jesus. That's where the story gets interesting and kind of relatable to me. Now, in Luke chapter 19, verse 3, it says, he wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was so short, he could not see over the crowd. So he wasn't just blocked by his height. He was also blocked by the crowd. And even more than that, he was blocked by how people saw him. But his biggest block in his way? His own heart. His greed, his sin, the choices he had made. That stuff can block your view worse than a tall person standing in front of you at a concert. Sometimes we all get blocked like that. We can't see Jesus clearly because we're distracted. We're stuck in habits we don't want to change. Or maybe people around us make us feel like we're not good enough to be close to Jesus. The truth is, Jesus doesn't look for the tallest, best, or most perfect. In Luke chapter 19, verse 4, it says, so he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. This grown man, probably wearing a fancy robe, and he just climbed this tree. He didn't care. That's not normal behavior for a rich adult. That's something a kid would do. But Zacchaeus didn't care what people thought at that moment. He just wanted a better view of Jesus. Sometimes we have to go out of our way to get closer to Jesus. That might mean waking up a little earlier to read your Bible, choosing different friends who lift you up, or taking a break from your phone to actually pray. It might feel uncomfortable or weird, but if we want a better view of Jesus in our lives, we have to climb. We have to move. In Luke chapter 19, verse 5, it says, when Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today. Jesus knew his name. Out of that whole crowd, Jesus looked straight up at this short, shady tax collector and said, let's hang out. He didn't shame Zacchaeus. He didn't say, get your act together first. He said, I'm coming over. That's what Jesus does. He sees us. He knows us. He wants to be in our lives right now, even when we feel like we're not good enough. And after that moment, Zacchaeus changed completely. He gave back the money he stole, and even gave away more than he had to. Why? Because when you see Jesus clearly, you see your life differently. In art class, I've been learning about perspective. You can look at one sculpture from the front, and it tells one story. But walk around it, and suddenly the shape looks totally different. It's still the same thing, but your view changes everything. Zacchaeus got a new perspective. He went from seeing the world through, I'm rich, I'm fine, I do what I want, to seeing it through Jesus' eyes. And he didn't just see better, he lived better. So, now that you know a little about me and a little about Zacchaeus, I want to leave you with 3 quick questions. What's blocking your view of Jesus right now? Are you willing to climb higher to see him better? What would change in your life if Jesus looked at you and said, I'm coming over? Here's the good news. Jesus already sees you. He already knows your name. You're not too short, too young, too messed up, or too anything for him. But remember, Jesus is taller than anything in your way. And he's already looking up to you and saying, come down. I'm staying with you today. And to all my short kings out there, I feel you.
Good morning, everybody. All right, for this first part, I need full participation. So sit up, no slouching. Be honest. If you saw me the first time ever, how old do you think I was? 14. No? Any other takers? Any guesses? Anyone over here? Want to guess? 12. No. Would you have guessed that I can drive anywhere I want all by myself? That I'm 17 years old, a junior in high school, and a starter on the varsity basketball team? Yes, I know. It's hard to believe. All 5 foot of me snagging rebounds out there. I make it work. You probably didn't expect that at all. And honestly, that's kind of the point. It's an upside-down way of thinking. Just like Jesus' kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, is what we'll be talking about today. In his kingdom, the poor become rich, the weak become strong, and the last become first. And that's not what we would expect, but it's exactly what we need. First, let's dive into the poor becoming rich. In Luke 21, 1 through 4, it says, as Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put 2 very small copper coins. Truly, I tell you, he said, this poor widow has put more in than all the others. All these people gave with their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. Now think about this just for a minute. She didn't give what she just had left over. She gave everything she had. And I mean, imagine looking at a person you don't even know, and then looking at your last 2 quarters in your pocket and giving them to that person even though you really wanted something out of a vending machine. That's bold. We're not called to give what's convenient or comfortable. We're called to give with all of our heart, with all of our mind, and with all of our soul. And when we live that way, we begin to understand the richness of the kingdom. It's not about stuff. It's about surrender. Secondly, the weak becoming strong. Let's talk about Zacchaeus for a minute, one of my favorite Bible characters. Partially because I get the height thing, we would have been like eye-level buddies. In Luke 19, 1 through 10, it tells his story. Zacchaeus was a wealthy tax collector, basically a guy nobody liked. And he was short. So when Jesus came into town, he climbed a tree just to get a glimpse. Talk about commitment. I mean, I've thought about doing this, to see over crowds by standing on a chair. Maybe that's why we would have been really good friends. But then Jesus spots him and says, Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today. Everyone else was like, wait, you're wanting to stay with him? But Zacchaeus changes. He gives half his stuff to the poor and promises to pay back anyone he cheated 4 times the amount. And Jesus didn't just pick the biggest, strongest, or the most liked. He picked the guy in the tree. Because Jesus sees what we can become, not what we are. Lastly, the last becoming first. In Luke 22, verses 24 through 27, the disciples were basically arguing who's the GOAT, aka greatest of all time. And yes, the disciples had group chat drama. But Jesus shuts it down really quick. The greatest among you should be the youngest, the one who rules like the one who serves. Translation,
It's not about climbing to the top. It's about kneeling low to serve. And okay, I know I'm breaking the only quoting from the book of Luke rule here, but Mark really nails it in chapter 10, verses 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. Wow. Jesus, the actual Son of God, came to serve us. So who are we to think that we should always be first? Because here's the truth. When we chase being first, we lose sight of God. It becomes all about me, instead of him, him, him. God's way of doing things flips everything upside down. And honestly, that's a good thing. Because his way is better. His kingdom isn't built on power, pride, or popularity. It's built on humility, service, and love. So maybe all we need is a little upside down faith. Faith that the rich can become poor, or the poor can become rich in spirit. Faith that the weak can become strong. And faith that the last can become first. And in that upside down kingdom is where I want to end up, with each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, last but not least, it's the moment I think you've all been waiting for. She said faith so many times, it probably makes you think of the video from last year. So without further ado, we're going to do this year's L.T.C. video, which looks like it's playing now.
Jesus entered Jericho, and he was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector, and he was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly.
1, 2, 3.
Zach was short, really small, couldn't see over all the crowds. He needed a way to be really tall. He climbed up a tree and headed for the clouds. And when he saw him up in that tree, gotta make him eat with me. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. The crowd was mad, they threw some shade. That man's a sinner, so don't go and eat with him. But Jesus said, hey, wait, that's why I came. Zacchaeus said, hold on, I will make this right. I will pay everyone I cheated. I'll pay them back at 4 times more. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Jesus gonna lift you up, Jesus gonna show you grace, Jesus gonna change your heart and life now. Jesus gonna call you out, Jesus gonna heal your soul, Jesus gonna make you brand new right now. Ooh, lift you up. Ooh, lift you up. Ooh, he's gonna lift you up. He's gonna lift you up. When Jesus saw him, he declared, your heart's been aching, but salvation's here this day. Dude went from greedy villain to a saint.
giving cash away and feels no pain. I just wanna be forgiven. Gotta make you see I've changed. Jesus gonna lift you up. Jesus gonna show you grace. Jesus gonna change your heart and life now. Jesus gonna call you out. Jesus gonna heal your soul. Jesus gonna make you brand new right now. He's never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. He's never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. She's gonna lift you up. She's gonna show you grace. She's gonna change your heart and life now. She's gonna call you out. She's gonna heal your soul. She's gonna make you brand new right now.
And action. 2, 3, 4. Action.
I didn't know.
Go.
Three,
Action.
2, 1. That's why I came. But Jesus said, oh, I will make this right. I will make everyone.
Rolling. Action.
Yes.
That means go. Not sure what that was.
Hey.
Jube, your shadow is in the shot.
Desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna. Now I'm not there.
All right, so if we could get Marie, Gideon, and Jubilee up here, it's time for awards. I've already dropped one. So to start things off, they did some things before the convention. Marie and Jubilee took part in the teaching challenge where they help out in teaching Bible class and even teach a few lessons for themselves. And for their hard work on that, they both received gold medals. Gideon took part in the worship leadership challenge. 2 weeks ago, remember, he planned the worship service from every song that was sung to the scriptures that were read. That was part of that challenge. And for his hard work, he also gets a gold medal. All right. Next, we have the Bible Bowl. That was the very first event that we do when we get to L.T.C. So we get checked in, we throw all our stuff in our hotels, and then we immediately have to go down to the big convention hall to take a 100-question multiple-choice test. It's a great way to start the convention, especially if you're not taking the test. Really is a good time. So anyway, Marie, for participating, you get a medal. Gideon, getting 70 correct out of 100, gets a bronze medal. And Jubilee, for getting 78 out of 100, gets a silver. All right, the next thing that was up was Marie with her Bible reading, and for her Bible reading, she received a gold medal. On Saturday morning, the very first thing that we did is we got up really early and got set up for puppets. It was the very first event of the day. And there was only 3 of them. They are small but mighty, and they definitely get gold medals. Next was public speaking. Gideon, for his speech about Zacchaeus and short kings, gold medal. And Jubilee, for her view of the upside-down kingdom, also gets a gold medal. There was also some display events, which we have back there. First off, Gideon for writing an adaptation for a children's book receives a gold medal. Marie did 2 separate art projects, one in mixed media, the other one in painting. Both of those are on display back there, and both of those received gold medals. The bulletin board back there with Guy Fieri as Jesus, or maybe it's Jesus as Guy Fieri. I'm not sure on that one. It's diners, dives, and dive-ins. You can guys take a look at that. It'll be on display at the other building. And for that, Jubilee receives a gold medal. Jubilee also did photography, which she did some photography and attached a Bible verse to it. And that is also back there. And for that, she received a gold medal. Gideon wrote a poem. His poem is back there. It's in one of the frames. It's an acrostic-style poem. And for his hard work, he gets a gold medal. And last but not least, with the video that they did, getting all exemplaries all the way down, the team receives a gold medal. Thank you guys once again. I mean, it really was important that they be able to show you guys what they did. If you liked what they did, please tell them they did a good job. Next year's theme is going to be on Joshua, Judges, and Ruth. So we're looking forward to seeing where they're going to come up with that. Thank you guys and have a great week.